Sex as a biological weapon, or a psychological weapon, I should say, right? Women often use sex as a psychological weapon to hurt men, and to also ridicule men, and to also psychologically beat men into submission, right? It's a form of control, it's a form of power, right? Women know that men want sex, and women have most of the power over sex, because most men will take what they can get when it comes to sex. Most men will do anything they can to get sex, and unfortunately, and to our fault, a lot of men will sacrifice their standards, sacrifice their morals, if they have any, sacrifice so much just to get this one thing. And there's a few different ways to look at it. On the one hand, it's scarcity. On the other hand, women are using it as a power tool to hold power over men, right? You could definitely get into the biology of it and talk about, well, women have to be like that, because if they don't, then blah, blah, blah. And, low quality men will create, low quality children, and blah, blah. And that's been talked about. And there's always exceptions. There's always, women are still getting knocked up by losers. Women are still getting pumped and dumped by Chad and ran out on when she gets pregnant. So that's a stupid argument, right? Problem is that women do not look for love. Problem is that women do not practice morality. Problem is that women do not have any social standards held to them by society or their parents or their friends. They basically just do what they want, and they get they have a get out of jail free card because they're a female. These are the real problems. It's not hypergamy. Oh, well, women need to pick high quality men, so sorry if you're not getting chosen. It's like that argument flew out the window when you realize that women are not moral, when women are really just chasing Chad. It has nothing to do with them being good pickers or good choosers of quality men. That has nothing to do with it, right? So this all goes back to women have the ultimate power, and the danger of giving women the ultimate power is that we do not give them any responsibility. So they have ultimate power with very little, if any, responsibility anchoring that power, okay? So what does that mean? You have immature women out here running around, playing around with sex, realizing that sex is power from a young age, and gloating in it, literally gloating in it, literally, wielding it as either a weapon or a superpower or whatever type of description you want to call it, using it and learning how to manipulate with it, right? This is normal. I mean, obviously it's not normal. It's an abnormal thing. If you have any semblance of morality, if you have any semblance of wholesomeness or what real normality should be. But what I mean by this is normal is it's common. This is happening all the time with most young women. Unless they're just different. Unless they're raised different, or they just have a disposition where they're just not, they don't want to be manipulative. But from a young age, they learn how to be manipulative. They learn that it's power. And to whatever extent each individual one uses that to their advantage or to their whim or whatever they want. And many of them use it as a weapon to hurt men psychologically. Now, what type of men are they hurting and why? They hurt weak men, okay? They use it as a tool to chastise men who speak the truth. For instance, if a guy is speaking the truth about the red pill or speaking the truth about modern women, they will use sex as a weapon to psychologically and verbally attack him, such as, oh, you're an incel, such as, oh, you must never get laid, such as, you're a virgin, right? I've heard all of these and more, in my day of speaking the red pill truth on social media, because obviously this type of stuff doesn't go on in real life for the most part, because people are too busy and people are too clammed up socially to have arguments in the streets, which is good. That's great. But how people really feel is how they act online, because there's anonymity to a certain degree online, right? Or at least there's safety. Like there's no immediate repercussions per se. There could be, but for the most part, there's not. You can just speak your mind, speak your opinion, and this is where you really get to see how people really act, how people really think, how people really are, right? So go online, go on social media, wherever, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, etc., right? Wherever people are speaking and responding and commenting and communicating. If you speak a red pill truth, women will come out of the woodwork to attack you psychologically, emotionally, try to hurt you so that you won't speak that truth. This is one of the ways how sex is used as a weapon, particularly a psychological weapon, particularly an emotional weapon, to hurt any man and beat any man into submission who's speaking the truth. Okay? That's number one. Number two, how they use it as a weapon really is, if a guy is pursuing her and she's looking for attention, but also a lot of times for them, there's something cruel in a woman that wants to hurt a man, lead a man on. He's too much of a nice guy, but I like the attention for now, and let me play this power and control card, psychologically, of course, because women 9 times out of 10 are not physically aggressive. How women are aggressive and damaging and attacking is psychologically, emotionally, which is a valid thing. But when it comes to a court of law, well, it could be argued, if you had a good lawyer in today's day and age. But most of the time, psychological abuse or verbal abuse or emotional abuse, is not necessarily recognized, particularly when it comes to a woman doing it to a man. Most of the times men are ridiculed if they say, you emotionally hurt me, whatever. But it's valid and it happens. And yes, you have to rise above, and yes, you have to, you got to roll with the punches. But a lot of times, particularly blue pill guys, before they become red pill, a lot of times this is how they get red pilled. This is why a lot of guys who are in the red pill community have bitter pain, have skeletons in their closet, have wounds, scars, emotional trauma, damage, psychological damage from being hurt by women. I know I do. I've got a laundry list of events that have happened to me in my life that have hurt me and red pilled me, caused me not to be blue pill anymore. Times where I was laughed at, ridiculed, rejected in a cruel way, right? This is how women use sex to hurt men. And the crazy thing is, a lot of times what happened to me when I was young was really before women even discovered feminism, right? Because usually 9 times out of 10 a woman goes off to college, and that's where she gets radicalized by modern feminism, is an 18, 19 freshman, sophomore year at college, because those are the recruiting grounds for propaganda, right, for these modern radical feminists. But the irony is, a lot of the hurt that I've experienced, and a lot of what I've experienced, was women hurting me, young women hurting me, before I was even in 12th grade. Before they were even in 12th grade. So you gotta wonder, is there something inherently cruel about them? And you could say, well, it's the nature, the biological cutting process where women are cutting out weak men, or you could call it a shit test, maybe. But I don't call cruelty a shit test. It could be. I'm not saying it's not per se, but I don't look at that like it's a shit test. I look at somebody who's cruel as they're just cruel, and they should own that. You know, whether you're a male or a female. Now, if it comes to sex, you know, okay, maybe objectively I can say, yeah, maybe that experience was her being, you know, cruel because she had to test out the, you know, weed out the weak. But I don't even think that's it. You know, people need to take accountability for their actions, man or woman. You treat someone shitty, you're a shitty person. Okay, you need to do better. You need to apologize. You need to be more cordial and kind, right? But we don't teach, a lot of times we don't teach our kids that. These parents are failures out here, right? So that's how it can be psychologically used, you know, to hurt men. You know, in the case of, say, a guy who's not 10 out of 10 Chad, not the guy every girl wants, because they all want that one guy who's number one, right? This is why guys are always in competition with each other to be more muscular, have more money, drive a better car, wear nicer clothes, blah, 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 right? Because it's all about hypergamy. It's all about that number one. So if you're not that number one and you try to hit on her or whatever, a lot of times these girls, not only do they not just reject you, but they ridicule you, because they want to. It's this cruel thing where they want to hammer it into your head that you are not desirable, and if you're not desirable to her, somehow you must not be desirable to anybody. And of course, we know that's not the truth. If you're not desirable to one woman, you just move on to the next. But a lot of times, because we have this blue pill conditioning that says, oh, I'm looking for the one, right? So we have this blue pill conditioning that says, I'm looking for the one. So we go after that one who we have a crush on. And then she horrifically rejects us. And then we think, oh, well, I'm just not desirable to women, right? We you know, in the red pill community, we call that one-itis, right? Well, unfortunately, a lot of guys get very damaged by that. You know, so this is sex as a weapon. A woman, young woman particularly, probably, because before you hit 20, you still have this kind of fairy tale blue pill conditioning where you want this true love idea. And, you know, by the time you hit 25, hopefully that should be, you know, weeded out of you after you've had a bunch of bad experiences. And a lot of guys, they just adapt to it, and they just sort of fill a niche. They kind of figure out, well, I need to, well, maybe I'll switch up and play the beta role. I'll play the nice guy role. I'll play this role where I'm not like these other guys. I got a steady job role. You know, she's out here dating bums and letting bums come inside of her, right? Well, you know, and I hate to call guys bums. You know, I apologize for that, but you know, wherever guys are at. But there's a lot of guys out here who really don't have much ambition as far as money is concerned, and all they want to do is just be ratchet and run up in as many women as they can. A lot of times, for some reason, these women are attracted to those kind of guys. So maybe it's the rogueness, maybe it's just he's just such a bad boy, whatever, right? But a lot of times guys adapt, and they adapt to, you know, that pain. Whoa, well, she rejected me because I'm not the bad boy, so I better not try to be the bad boy. I better not try to play this game and win. I'm going to switch it up and, you know, play this other role. And so anyway, so that could be one effect. You know, the other effect is just withdrawal completely. Oh, I'm not wanted. I'm going to go MGTOW. I'm not wanted. I'm going to go black pill. Like, particularly when it comes to one-itis, like, nah, man, you got to get out there and try more women. There are nice women out there. But it's part of the selection process. Rejection is part of success. Rejection is part of success. Rejection is part of the selection process. You're going to get rejected. You're probably not going to be accepted to every single job you apply for. You're going to get denied. You're going to get rejected. It's the same with women. It's such as life, right? But anyway, I just want to conclude there. You know, I want to talk a little bit about sex being used as a weapon. There's a lot more ways that it can be used as a weapon. It's also a tool to get what they want. You know, and that's generally the way that I talk about it. You know, on my channel is, Sex is currency. Sex is a way to get what they want. Sex is big, man. This is why women are not giving it away easily. And I don't believe, I think, yes, okay, yes, there's that hypergamy in the selection process. That's part of why they don't give it away easily. But also, a main reason why a main factor why they don't give it away easily is because it's a power tool. It's a tool of power. You know, it's so powerful that they can ridicule men into thinking the way that they think. They can browbeat men into being white knights. They can browbeat men into being tools for them. They turn men into servants with sex. And that is a type of weapon, because what is that doing? That's psychologically tearing down our role as leader, our role as man. And you know, nowadays you shouldn't even say that. You'll get crucified for saying that. Oh, men are leaders. Oh, that's right. Well, anyway, in a bygone era, we were leaders. We did everything, right? We built the streets, we built the courthouses, we built the businesses, we built the companies, we built everything. All the structure of society, man built, not women, men. And it wasn't because there was this worldwide conspiracy to keep women out of the loop, out of positions of power. No, we just did that. You know, if a woman could get the job done, they would have done it. That's not what they wanted to do. They didn't want no parts of that. If they had the ambition, they could do it. No, that's not how women's brains are wired. For the most part, not saying there's not exceptions throughout history. I'm sure there definitely is, but anyway. So it's a psychological weapon to tear down our masculinity, right? To tear down our power as men. Right? Now, if you want to play the card of equality and all, you know, women can work and blah, 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 fine. But if you ever have been in a relationship, you know how women behave. They are submissive to a man. Naturally. Women want to be naturally submissive to a man in a relationship. Any relationship you have where a woman is not naturally soft towards you, naturally supportive, naturally submissive to you, okay, that's not a good relationship. If you've ever been in a quality relationship with a feminine woman, there's something about them that is cleaving towards you in a submissive way. And I don't mean submissive like she's your servant and she's just this, you know, peon or whatever, just this little nothing that you can order around. That's not what I mean by submissive. There's just something in their nature that's submissive to a man. So it's a weapon used by feminists. Sex is a major weapon used by feminists, particularly in the psychological warfare for social financial dominance. Okay? They know we want sex. They withhold it and try to warp us, try to hurt us with it, try to make us subservient. I've been through this, man. Now, particularly the guys who are less desirable. If you're a desirable guy, you might not know what I'm talking about, because it might not have affected you that much, because they treat chads differently than they treat the average guy, or guys who are just not that hot, or not that tall, or not that rich, or not that successful, or not that capable, not that ambitious, etc. This is the insidiousness of that, whatever that is, whatever you want to call that, you know, their nature, their programming, their conspiracy, because you know, let's be real, a lot of these women out here are conspiring. You know, I don't, you know, for lack of a better word, I saw a YouTube channel the other day where it was talking about how they support. Let me see if I can find it real quick so I can give you guys the right kind of idea. Let's see, give me about 2 seconds here. Here we go. Hive mind mentality. They have a hive mind mentality, right? They might compete with each other. Here it is, this video. Oh no, it's just a quote. Remember, females compete with one another and fundamentally hate one another. However, on the same token, they have a hive mind. They're a hive mind. If one of their close female friends is cheating on their significant other, then 9 times out of 10, they know and are often encouraging their friend to do so. This is just one example of that hive-mindedness. They will hate each other and compete with each other, but they'll also support each other in their debauchery or their degenerativeness or their slyness or cleverness or the way they rule over men. You see what I'm getting at? It's a universal, unspoken thing, and it's a crazy thing, because you would think that women were more individualistic, or you would think that humans are more individualistic, but not really. Not really. It's like almost this unspoken agreement, this natural built-in agreement, and it's hive mind mentality that they have to subconsciously rule over men. Now, is this all women? No, I think some women, maybe you could say many women, although they're rare these days, do like to be submissive to one man. And a lot of times, from my experience, is these women are wholesome, traditional values, Christians, moral. Anything that's usually not that is warped, in my opinion, from radical feminism, modern degeneracy, right? All these things that warp people, they're affected by these things, right? And it's this hive mind agreement. So this is all ways that women hurt men with sex. Okay, these are just a few examples. There's many other ways and many other, experiences and examples of this, but these are just a few examples, right? So be wary of that. Know that it's just a red pill truth. It's something that we got to live with and go through and understand. Just know subconsciously that women believe that they have this power over us. They believe that they can manipulate us. And they believe that because they have that power and that manipulation, they fundamentally believe they're better than us. And the sad thing is that really makes them not good people on an individual basis. I'm not going to sit here and say all women are like this. But I believe all women know this to some extent, that they have this power of sex. Not all women use it in a manipulative, vindictive, or hurtful way, as I've been explaining, So there are exceptions. There are good women out there. It's just, you got to keep in mind that they know this, right? How they choose to react to it, how they deal with it, how they use it, determines what type of person they are. Anyway, something to keep in mind, guys. Appreciate you listening. It's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.